covering your teams and the news of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase.
It was pleasant to listen to.
With Caroline Fenton, Willy Donick, and former NFL wide receiver Derek Mason.
You are hands down my favorite radio personality of all time.
On 102.5 and 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
With no further ado,
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, quick intro. Mike Vrabel's up at the podium, so we'll send it over to St. Thomas Sports Park now.
In our defense and our secondary, Jeffrey, the impact that he makes, and then Aziz, being a guy that's come in, in the offseason through free agency and has really shown a propensity to be here every day, be locked in, communicate. Same thing offensively with, Ryan and Derek, and then, Brew, I would put him in kind of the category of Aziz, even though he's been here, but having that opportunity to try to lead that offensive line and help them.
What you see out of Kears Jackson all through the preseason that gave you the confidence that he could handle the punt and kick return job?
I think at some point in time, Kears decided to be coached and to work each day and improve and change some behavior and learn multiple positions, and then also be consistent catching the football and taking advantage of his opportunities.
What would you have to say to him during his initial reluctance maybe to get him out of that mode?
Well, I mean, it's just it's not negative. I don't want to mean it as negative. It's just that, guys that are conscientious, that show up, want to always do the right thing and understand that we understand that there's going to be mistakes, and maybe how they coached it at Georgia or how he learned it or how he thought it maybe wasn't in line with what we were looking for. So again, it's just about not making excuses and just having accountability and saying, yep, that has to be better, or I see it, or whatever it may be. And he did a nice job.
Coach, you mentioned the challenge the Saints defense brings offensively, some new pieces, including their new quarterback, Derek Carr. How would you describe the challenge they present to your defense?
Well, I think that, obviously with Olave, Michael Thomas, two different receivers, one extremely quick, great route runner. Michael Thomas, is a great route runner in his own right, but it's just the physicality, the play strength that he has. Jawan Johnson, it's a veteran offensive line with a couple new pieces there, but for the most part, you look back a couple years and that's been the same group that it's been. Last time we played them a couple years ago, with the addition of Penning, they've got some tight ends and how they use Hill. We'll see what Derek Carr and how he operates, but when this offensive system that they've had in place for a while, when they are at their best, there's an urgency, there's a pace to it, and I don't mean no huddle, but there's an operation that's fast, that gets out of the huddle, that motions, that there's just when the ball's getting out of the hand of the quarterback and it's getting into the playmakers.
And how about a guy like Jawan Johnson maybe incorporating Taysom Hill a little bit too, just the way that they've done that in the past with their offense?
We'll have to be ready for a lot of different things and have to, get lined up and know who's in the football game and know where they're lined up at. Not only us and our communication, but finding out where they're at. So there'll be things that we'll have seen from tape, and there'll be things that we haven't seen.
We look at Marshawn Lattimore. He's a guy. Sometimes he'll travel, sometimes he plays side, whatever. But what is it that you feel makes him such an outstanding player?
Well, he's got talent, he's got competitiveness, he's got play strength, and he challenges, and that's the thing when he gives up a play, he comes right back, and he gets lined up again and continues to challenge and come back at you, and he can run, he can flip his hips, he can play off, he can play press, so there's a lot of different things that he can do, and he's done it for a lot of years.
Seen Tajay do to this point to earn the trust of coaches and teammates alike?
Well, I think there was a time in Minnesota where, during practice, Tajay stepped up and met a linebacker right in the hole, just from the different looks that they gave us. And I pointed it out to the team, and the defensive guys were like, "Oh," you kind of hear him talking, and that was the reaction I kind of expected. When I showed the tape or the play to the team, and knowing that the offensive players would have seen it or had seen it, but the defensive players didn't. And I said that's the way that a young running back earns the respect of his teammates, is that they are able to protect the guy with the ball and not just do what they do with the ball. We've seen examples of him, making plays with the football in his hand, but it's how you play without the football that I think really guys appreciate, or certainly I appreciate.
Was first being installed, the guys first got here, the word they were quickly using was tempo. They seemed surprised by the tempo, or that was the biggest adjustment for them. How much do you think that's kind of something now that's in the bag?
Well, we've always tried to play with urgency. We've always tried to get to the line of scrimmage. We've always tried to have those things and, continue to make an emphasis on it. And I think that the more that you learn it, one, it allows you to play quicker, and maybe when you know something so well that you kind of take it for granted, right? So when you have this new learning, new terminology, the things that we've added, you're on high alert, you're on edge, and so maybe that's part of it. But I hope that we, since we've been here, never played lackadaisical. Maybe that's kind of what it is.
What have you seen from Tim?
Hey, buddy, I haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, oh, really? Yeah, welcome back.
Okay.
Oh, really? You sound surprised.
Has it been that long? I try to let Karski have more questions. But yeah, what have you seen from Tim in this role?
I mean, since he's been here, or I've been around Tim, there's been a great energy, a passion for teaching, a passion for explanation, finding new ways to teach, and that's been really cool seeing him and Justin and Charles work together, building plays, building terminology, building installation, and so hopefully it can all help our players. But I think Tim has a great relationship with the players, and he has the ability to push them, to challenge them, but also, to teach them and explain to them.
In your travels around the league, is that arena one of the louder ones that you can remember visiting?
Yeah, I mean, any dome, and certainly opening week in New Orleans, and I mean, they have a passionate fan base, and anytime you play indoors, you have to be conscious of that, and certainly on opening week. And
as far as that nonverbal contact that you have to have?
Well, it will be a large part of what we do. I mean, a large part of how we prepare, knowing that, the road environment is something that we're going to have to handle early in the game based on the success that we have. And, third down, making sure that, we're in and out of the huddle, that we're quarterbacks, putting the protection where he wants it, and then being able to adjust to it. And, the line and punt team, showed the team this morning about, Tampa last year, their second week of the season. Guys on the punt team are late reacting to the snap, and, they get on a guy's edge on the right side there, and, didn't get blocked, but it was, a point that we made that, even guys on the punt team have to be able to periff the ball and be able to get back and get set and not let those guys get on their edge. They come after punts and they come after field goals.
Mike, in your experience as a head coach, is there anything about getting your guys ready for week one that's different than getting them ready for any other week?
Just an emphasis on fundamentals, emphasis on, we can all say they're going to do this and they're going to do that and, pull stuff out of the sky, but really we don't know. We have no idea. We have to go down there and, play sound, play fundamentally sound, play with great effort, being able to get back to center. They hit a play knowing, hey, whatever we see early, they're probably going to come back to later on, and figure out if there's some wrinkles that we'll have to adjust to, and being great, recognizing things, and, not trying to say, hey, this is what they're going to do, because we may have an idea, even defensively, since there's been some consistency over the years, but they'll have some things that we haven't seen as well.
As a leader early, is that rare in your experience for somebody to be able to come into a veteran room and kind of establish as a leader early?
Well, I wouldn't say that the room that he came into was much. Yeah. I mean, I think it just depends on each player, and their personality, and the impact that they want to make, and how they fit into the entire room, which it's been a great addition.
How do you feel like Brewer has been taking command of that offensive line?
Again, I think that Brew's, the one thing that we've all been around Ben Jones, and Ben was here for a lot of years and made an unbelievable impact on our team and organization, but Brew had to try to lead differently than Ben. I mean, they're different people, different personalities, but have seen an energized and professionalism to them, and coming in early, extra meetings. His communication with the quarterback and the rest of the line has been where we wanted it to be.
This is a good litmus test for your defense, with all the emphasis on preventing X plays, to go against two very good receivers and a quarterback like Carr who's not shy about airing it out and putting balls downfield.
You said, is this a good test? Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to make sure that we don't get the ball thrown over our head. We also have to make sure that you're, tackling it when they catch it. The guys can operate in space after the catch. I mean, Olave, if you don't break down or don't tackle him, can turn, and just like he did last year, against the Panthers, took it, an 8-yard pass and turned over his outside shoulder, and it was a 30-yard touchdown. So not only being great down the field, but also being able to come and tackle when those guys have it.
Feels good about your ability to rush the passer after training camp going into week 1?
I hope so. We've invested a lot of resources there, so we better.
Will Arden practice?
Yeah, I would anticipate Arden being out there today at some capacity.
You guys good? Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
There you go. That was Titans head coach Mike Vrabel at the podium. Ryan Tannehill will speak coming up next. We will carry that live and in its entirety. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
All the big plays.
Touchdown, Tennessee!
All the big stories.
I fully expected DeAndre Hopkins wanting a one-year deal.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Touchdown, Tennessee!
You're going to make a trade like this.
Does he want to retire a Tennessee Titan?
The door's on the board.
Such superstar players. The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline Fenton here for our friends over at Superbook Sports. Football season is right around the corner, and now is the time to place your preseason bets with Superbook in Tennessee. Superbook is the most trusted name in Vegas, and now you can use the promo code Caroline to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, Superbook will match your first bet up to $250 with promo code Caroline. Will Tennessee win the division this year? Who is your pick for MVP, and which team will win it all in February? Don't sit on the sidelines. Win money this season with Superbook Sports. Simply download the Superbook Tennessee app, or you can visit superbook.com to place your wager today. Football, a $250 first bet bonus, and the Caroline promo code will make you do your own touchdown dance this season with Superbook Sports. So visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Don't miss a minute of football action while getting up close and personal to the future stars of the PGA Tour. Join Penn Entertainment on site at the Simmons Bank Open, promoting Penn Play and their sports online betting platform. Stop by their tent in the Arctic Tailgate Village during the tournament to learn more and have a chance to win some prizes and giveaways. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call Tennessee Redline, 1-800-899-9789.
We pride ourselves on being transparent, opening up the books, and sharing all the secrets of the diamond industry. We have a passion for this, and part of having a passion is sharing that passion.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper says, at Genesis, you don't just get an entry-level course in diamonds, you get a PhD.
We love educating our customers, even over-educating our customers about diamonds and gemstones, so they can truly see the difference in what we offer.
At Genesis, diamonds are not a side business. It's their only business.
We eat, breathe, and sleep diamonds.
So whether you end up buying at Genesis or not, come for the education.
The better educated we can make you at Genesis Diamonds, the better a shopper you're going to be, whether you shop with us or anyone else. You will be able to tell the difference and know what you are buying, so you make the best decision for you.
Genesis Diamonds, proud to offer one of the largest selections of GIA certified diamonds in the nation, with no middleman markups, no retail pricing games, no commission salespeople, and no nonsense. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Want to weigh in on the conversation? It's a brain booster. Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Having some fun in the midday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app. We're live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Game Studios, and we are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live every single day. Our video streaming is brought to you by Superbook. Download their app today and use promo code The Game. Just heard from Mike Vrabel at the podium. We are awaiting Ryan Tannehill at the podium. But one thing that stuck out to me from Mike Vrabel's press conference, the questions about Tim Kelly, I think it's a reminder that while we think we might know this offense, and I think we know what this offense wants to do. This offense wants to run the football, and this offense wants to win games by going through number 22. But the kind of wild card that maybe I have forgotten, maybe that's just a me thing and that's a complete oversight on my part, is the fact that we have yet to see this Tim Kelly offense in full effect. Correct me if you thought differently, but it's not like I thought we saw, Tim Kelly's DNA, his thumbprint in the offense in the preseason, but we're likely to see that against New Orleans. The Tim Kelly effect is interesting.
Yeah, I think during during preseason, you don't want to show too much.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to do is, get the fundamentals of your game plan in, and let guys get comfortable, running those plays in a game setting. And then as the weeks progress, you sort of add more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in preseason, you're not doing too much game planning. You're just picking out, plays in a sense that you believe you need to work on. You're not game planning as if you're game planning for the season. You're doing your game planning, but it's not, in the regular season, you start your game planning, some coaches, they start the week prior to facing the team, even while they're putting together a game plan for the team that they're going against. They're always putting plays in the back of their pocket for the next following team.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get through that, you get on the plane and you start diagramming, plays for the next following week. And, Sunday, come in Monday, you have, rough sort of a rough graph of what you want to potentially do moving forward. You allow the quarterbacks to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
It may be 20, 30 plays, and then Tuesday come, you add more plays, and by Wednesday you come in, and now we're dealing with first and second down. You got pretty much your whole package of your first and second down put in. So during preseason, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But now it's going to happen, and we're going to see how Tim Kelly likes to approach games because, we didn't see that during the preseason. We didn't see how he was going to approach games because in the last game, he ran the ball 3 times. I know he's not going to do that in the regular season.
Right.
So I think we're starting to see what Tim Kelly wants this offense to look like this week versus the New Orleans Saints. He didn't do much during the preseason. We didn't expect him to do much during the preseason. You wanted to make things simple so guys can earn an opportunity. So you can see a guy's true talent sort of come into fruition. You don't want to load too much on an individual, especially a first-year guy. So as they start getting into the season, more importantly, this game against the New Orleans Saints, you're going to see a bigger package. You're going to see things you didn't see in preseason, and even things that you saw last year. You may not see those things this year, just because he's a different type of play caller.
And I think too, what might get misinterpreted maybe by a lot of Titans fans is, well, all of the run plays that Todd Downing called, well, those were awfully predictable, so we're going to be throwing the ball a whole lot this go-around. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. But Ryan Tannehill is up at the podium, so we will send it to Tannehill now.
And was there a point where you knew things were going to, fit well for you here?
There's a lot in that question, but everything is in that situation is a new experience, right? So you're learning a lot along the way, learning a lot of new teammates. Could be a new offense, new city, new organization. But I can't speak for Derek. For me, I came in and just tried to do my job each and every day and prepare myself to go win games.
What do you feel like the readiness level is for this offense going into the opener?
I'm excited. I'm excited about the work we've put in up to this point. Excited about where our guys are out and the confidence we have going into this game. Now it's a matter of making the transition from doing it in practice to go doing it in games that count.
Maybe can you quantify the difference for you in this offense in terms of even like calling more protections at the end, having more options available to you pre-snap and different plays? Like how different is that for you in this offense?
It's a little bit different than the last offense, obviously. Some new concepts, some new protections, new ideas that we haven't had in the past. So that's been a fun process for me of getting on board with those and making those part of what we do and owning them. So happy with how things have gone throughout training camp and excited to transition it into the season.
For you personally as an individual, does anything change like as far as your approach or your mindset entering this season where you are in this career?
No, I'm excited to go attack this season. We have an opportunity to get this thing going the right way. So, that's my mindset right now is do everything I can this week to go win this game and, keep doing that as the weeks roll by and we'll be in good shape.
Do you take at all like a future is now kind of approach, knowing everything that's at stake for you?
Obviously it matters, right? It matters no matter where you're at in your career. So, you got to take advantage of your opportunities when they come, and we know that this is a big opportunity and a big opportunity for myself.
You and a lot of guys on offense talked about the tempo when you first saw the new offense. There was a lot of talk about the tempo. How is that translated through all of this? How do you think it translates into what you guys do going forward?
Tempo is a part of what we do. It's something that we can use to try to create an advantage, get the defense on their heels, go in and out of it. We'll see how much we end up using it this week and following weeks, but it's definitely a tool that we like to keep in our back pocket and be able to use.
Earlier you mentioned building confidence with new teammates. What do you do to build that? Where does that come from?
Through reps. Primarily is through reps, whether I'm in the rep myself or watching it and when another QB is in there. Just seeing guys execute. Repeated success, right? You seeing patterns and guys doing the right thing over and over, making plays over and over again, and that confidence grows. Whether it's tight coverage and the guy's making a contested catch, that gives you the confidence to throw in those tight windows and be able to trust your guy to go make a play, or a pre-snap read of, hey, this guy's one-on-one backside. He's been winning one-on-one backside, so let's give him a chance. So all those types of things.
It is with receivers when you have new linemen, or is it kind of the same principle?
It's the same principle. My eyes aren't necessarily on them during the play, but whenever you have some clean pockets, you start stacking clean pockets and are able to throw and be on your 2 feet and not get knocked down or hit and tackled and sacked. Then that confidence grows in the offensive line that you're going to have a time to get the ball off cleanly.
How much do guys like Tajay and Chig help you be more creative when you're in like 21 personnel or 13 personnel that are normally kind of concerted packages?
Yeah, they're talented guys. Excited to have both those guys on our team. when you have those matchup guys and you can put them in multiple personnels, kind of spread across, whether it's 21 or 12 or whatever the case may be, definitely gives you more avenues of attacking the defense and putting pressure on them.
Will you talk to Malik and Will about how life changes now in those roles and how few snaps there are available in the scout team role, and how making an impression might be a lot harder during these weeks when the team's getting ready for games?
Yeah, it wasn't a conversation that I led, but conversation in the QB room about how we're getting ready to go into preparing to win games and not so much development. So how those roles change and being able to take advantage of the reps that come whenever they do come. It's more challenging this time of year, obviously, but definitely crucial to keep going down that path to develop.
What's it like preparing for a week one opponent where you know what they've done in the past, but you also know you could see some things you've never seen before, and can you drive yourself crazy kind of preparing too much?
Week one's definitely a wild game. Every year it's like this. You have so much time to prepare. You never really know what they're going to throw at you. They've had all off season to kind of scheme up something and try to hit you with it. So you never really know exactly what you're going to get. Obviously, you have an idea, but there's always some wild cards thrown in.
From a noise perspective, that's a pretty loud place. How much does that change, what you and the receivers do, or tight ends, et cetera, to make sure you're on the same page and able to talk without actually talking?
Yeah, it's huge. You go into an environment like this, it's going to be hostile, it's going to be loud. Communication is going to be key, whether it's in the huddle, outside of the huddle, the offensive line, at the line of scrimmage, myself to the offensive line, at the line of scrimmage, myself and the receivers. It's all huge and paramount that we were able to be on the same page no matter what the situation is. So definitely loud environments make that tough, and we have to work that. We started working that in practice. It's tough to simulate that in practice with just how loud it gets in a place like New Orleans, but we're doing the best we can to simulate it and making sure that we can be on the same page and ready to go.
Alignment-wise, Ryan, from Peter Stronsky, the time that he's been here?
Yeah, Peter's steady Eddie, man. He comes to work each and every day and does his job. I can think back to spring, just watching some one-on-one reps with him and Jeff, kind of battling it out. And, you watch those reps and you kind of get a good feeling in your gut, and as you see training camp go on, he's just steady. He's out here, he's improving, he's working hard each and every day and doing exactly what we ask him to.
The Saints defense has been pretty good at getting after quarterbacks the last several years. What's the biggest concern or two you have facing them and facing their ability to put pressure on you?
Yeah, they have a good rush, man. They do a good job, not only with their edge rushers and the talent they have, but then using the games and stunts inside to create pressure on the offensive line. So we have to be on top of that, have to be on the same page offensively. Obviously, Cam Jordan has been around for a long time, doing it at an extremely high level. Demario Davis in the middle kind of runs the show. He's in the backfield. He's making plays down the field. He's all over the place. So I have a ton of respect for those guys and this defense. And it's going to be key that we can give ourselves some time to get the pass off.
You've been in a lot of different locker rooms in your career in terms of what you guys did last year, roster turnover, expectations, different things. Where does this locker room kind of fall in line with your career experience of confidence and expectations heading into week one?
Yeah, I'm not going to rank anything here, but excited about where this team's at. Obviously, there's always an excitement going into week one, and now it's a matter of making it happen. Every team in the league has an opportunity to go execute their goals and reach what they want to reach, but only really one team does that. So it's a matter of finding a way week in and week out to stay true to what we believe in, how we do it, preparing ourselves, and coming together as a team. We really see. I like the energy we have, the camaraderie we have, but you really find out what your team's about once you start playing games and go through some adversity. So excited to be able to kick things off this week.
How excited are you to finally get to throw to DeAndre in something that means something?
I'm excited, man. It's been a lot of fun getting to know him over the course of training camp. A ton of reps out here on the practice field, so he's been working hard. He's been practicing each and every day, which is huge, and just building that trust and that chemistry with me. And I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. Now it's just a matter of doing it on Sundays.
You guys struggled Ryan last year in the second half, so almost 4 points. How much has that been emphasized, throughout the offseason, throughout training camp? Maybe not only getting off the quick starts, which you guys did pretty well, but that second half as well.
It's just consistency. I don't think it's something we harped on or anything like that, but we just want to be consistent. We want to go out, be able to start fast, put points up early, and then play consistent throughout games. There's going to be ebbs and flows throughout games over the course of the season, and it's just a matter of being able to get out of those funks whenever they happen. Every offense, every team has them at some point. It's just a matter of acknowledging it and not being satisfied with where it's at, being able to get something going the next drive.
Did you by chance watch the college game that was played at Nissan the other day? Just wondering if you got any feedback on field conditions or anything like that.
No, I didn't. Sorry, I missed out on that.
Thank you, Ron. Nobody's watching.
All right, we will react to what we heard from both Ryan Tannehill and Mike Vrabel coming up next. And, of course, your thoughts as well. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, we are brought to you by Zen Sports. Start earning cash rewards on your bets today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee to bet.
New home. New energy. Same Blue Raiders.
99 yards! Touchdown, Middle Tennessee!
Catch every game for MTSU on 93.3 Classic Hits. Coach Rick Stockstill is poised to lead his team to yet another bowl appearance. We're really excited about this opportunity. Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
Let's see. That one. Wait, I didn't see this one.
We apologize. When you have as many microbrews on tap as we do, we know it can be hard to make a decision. Don't worry, we're patient.
Wow, let me see here.
Bar lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Incredible apps and salads, delectable burgers and wraps featuring local Tennessee whiskey and local brews on tap and live music 7 days a week. The decision is obvious. Bar lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Caroline Fenton here from my friends at Sean Hammond's Jiu-Jitsu Academy. They supply a very safe and family-friendly environment with classes daily. Classes range from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, cardio kickboxing, ladies and kids programs, and so much more. Black belt instructed classes for men, women, and kids of all ages. You'll gain knowledge in self-defense, get a great workout, and get in the best shape of your life. Located at 2909 Armory Drive in South Nashville, call Sean Hammond's Jiu-Jitsu Academy today to set up your free trial. Learn more at SeanHammondsBJJ.com.
Hey Tennessee, we're Zen Sports, the new sportsbook in town. We listen to your feedback on our competitors, so we designed Zen Sports just the way you wish. Set favorites, search and sort bets, and earn real cash rewards, saving you time and money with every bet you make. Find the bets you want, not those distracting bets that seem too good to be true but rarely are. Best of all, withdraw your winnings in under 24 hours. So take control of your bets, because with Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up and in Tennessee to bet.
Blue Raider fans, your home for all the MTSU football and men's basketball action is on 93.3 Classic Hits and 95.1 Classic Hits in the borough. Catch the action all season long with Chip Walters on the call. Go Blue Raiders!
Vanderbilt football lives here.
This Saturday, it's Vandy at Wake Forest from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Kickoff at 10 a.m. Coverage starts at 8:30 a.m.
Your home for the Commodores is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Vanderbilt football head coach Clark Lee. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Earlier you mentioned building confidence with new teammates. What do you do to build that? Where does that come from?
Through reps. I mean, primarily is through reps, whether I'm in the rep myself or watching it, and when another QB is in there, just seeing guys execute, repeated success, right? You seeing patterns and guys doing the right thing over and over, making plays over and over again, and that confidence grows, whether it's tight coverage and the guy's making a contested catch, that gives you the confidence to throw in those tight windows and be able to trust your guy to go make a play, or a pre-snap read of, hey, this guy's one-on-one backside. He's been winning one-on-one backside, so let's give him a chance. So all those types of things.
There you go. That was Ryan Tannehill at the podium. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Just heard from both Mike Vrabel and Ryan Tannehill. And as we were just kind of throwing around at the break, we got to Mike Vrabel a little bit late. But I've been looking around the Twitter sphere to see if there was any questions about this or if Mike Vrabel commented. One, about the status of Treylon Burks. Mm-hmm. We may have missed that, but just doing my Twitter research, I don't think that we have any update yet on Treylon Burks. And the last update that we got from Mike Vrabel about Treylon Burks was kind of wishy-washy, not very definitive, kind of a Vrabel-esque answer. Mm-hmm. So no word yet on Treylon Burks, and that's, I'm not going to lie, a little bit concerning to me, because when I saw Treylon Burks out at practice, this was maybe last week, when he jumped up for that jump ball that he grabbed one-handed, I thought, well, he looks great. Mm-hmm. He doesn't look like that knee is bothering him at all. Yeah. But since then, really no update on Treylon Burks, and maybe no update is a good thing.
Yeah, it could be a good thing. Last we saw of him after the injury was him doing individuals. Obviously, we didn't see any of the team reps. So we are only to believe, what has been said and what the Titans have put out there. And it seems like, no one said anything contrary to him not playing. So we should expect that, he is playing. Today is, Wednesday, and you usually get an update. I'm sure we'll get a better update once practice is over with today, because he didn't. Yeah. He mentioned Arden Key, a guy that may be out there on for practice today, and he was one of the guys that were hurt. But he didn't mention anything about Treylon Burks, so that I would assume that Treylon has no limitations and he will be out there. Another thing I have no idea. Yeah, we just don't know. Another thing I didn't hear, and again, we caught the Vrabel interview a little bit, late. The backup quarterback. Who is going to be the backup quarterback? I don't know if he's, said, who's going to be the guy or not. So that'll be interesting as we move forward, and as we get closer and closer to the game on Sunday. Will he name a backup? I guess he has to, because doesn't the team have to say who the third quarterback is?
I think you do. That might be the best clue that you would have.
Whenever he may name the backup, but if he doesn't, if he names who's going to be the who's going to be the third quarterback, then we would assume that whoever's not the third, then he's the backup to Ryan Tannehill.
And he's not going to do that until he has to.
Exactly. It makes no sense now. Yeah, right. It makes no sense to do it now. So hopefully, I'm sure by Friday we will know who the backup quarterback is, at least for this game.
Nothing jumped out at me as real newsworthy stuff from either one of those press conferences. My overriding thought for everything this morning, I was reading up on the Saints. The Saints and the Titans are playing in divisions that consensus are the two weakest divisions in the NFL. If you look at each division from top to bottom, there are several divisions in the league where whoever you decide is the fourth place team, let's say you think the Browns are the fourth best team in the AFC North. There are some scenarios where the Browns could win that division. It wouldn't be completely crazy for that to happen. It would be an upset, but they have some talent. They're bringing a lot to the table. Same thing in the AFC East. If you say that the Patriots are the worst team in that division, which is the consensus, you still have Bill Belichick. You have a good defense. You have a good running game. They're going to be in games.
Being the worst team in that division, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing.
No, considering the division.
Yeah,
right.
But your strength of schedule as a result is going to be tough. Now let's get to the Titans and the Saints. Much easier schedule on paper, facing a lot more young quarterbacks, inexperienced quarterbacks, rebuilding teams. And so I look at a lot of predictions, and I see the Saints with, because of the other three teams, a very good opportunity to win that division. But I don't see a loaded roster. They're a team that has had a lot of salary cap issues the last couple of years. It's eroding their depth. They're paying a lot of guys that don't play for them. It's going to get worse the next couple of years. I was reading up on some of the things Mickey Loomis did. He's kind of he's robbing Peter to pay Paul. He's moving money around. He's voidable years. I'll worry about it later. And found a way to get Derek Carr in there. I think he sees that there's an opportunity to win that division. But all that to say, this is a great swing game on the schedule. And there's such an X factor in week one because nobody knows what. There were some questions like that. How do you scout? How do you know what's coming? How do you know what they're going to scheme? No, there's nothing to go on. There's no tendencies. But talent for talent, these two teams are very similar, I think. And so this is a big swing game. If the Titans get it, that's one more step towards, hey, it wouldn't take much. If you just beat the teams you can beat, the middle to bottom tier of the league, you can scratch your way and find yourself 6 or 7 wins to where you only need to beat 3 or 4 good teams to really have a solid year.
Yeah, and that's just the way the NFL operates, and that's how they want it. I was looking at New Orleans' schedule from last season. They ended up going, I think, 7-10, but there were a handful of games in there where they were 1 score games. And for a team that...
And they had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, a lot of injuries. Didn't have great quarterback play.
Didn't have great coaching.
Exactly. So, but yet and still, this team still was... They went out and they competed. They were competitive. And there were, a bulk of their games, they were 1-score games against some really good teams. So you wonder now that they have more of a... proven quarterback at the helm. He's not great. He's sort of like in the realm of Ryan Tannehill. Mm-hmm. He's not great. He's not bad. He's good. He can win you some games. I don't know how many games he can win you alone, but he can win you some. But he's going to be solid. He's the guy that's going to be solid. So they're hoping that bringing over Derek Carr, having Michael Thomas back fully healthy, Olave another year in this system. Now, they are missing Alvin Kamara, but I think they still will be able to do some of the things that they want to do, or at least try to do some of the things that they want to do from an offensive standpoint. Their defense was middle of the road. If you just tally up all the numbers, they were a middle of the road defense. They were stingy as far as giving up points. I think they had given up maybe 20 points per game. So this is a defense that is capable of holding opponents and allowing their offense to potentially win games. So, Kevin Byard said it yesterday. I think Vrabel mentioned it a little bit today, as well as Ryan Tannehill. This first game is just there's a lot of unknowns. Mm-hmm. Even though New Orleans pretty much brought back everybody as far as the coaching staff, it's still the unknown on the first game, how they're going to react, what plays are going to be called, how are they going to adapt without Alvin Kamara. So there's going to be a lot of things that the Titans are going to have to be prepared for, but rightfully so for the New Orleans Saints. It's going to be a lot of things that they have to prepare for with the new look Titans.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because for as much of a veteran team as this Saints team is, at least on paper, there's still a lot of questions. Your point, no Alvin Kamara week 1. What is Michael Thomas? I mean, I think the last time that I saw Michael Thomas in a Saints uniform was maybe the NFC Championship game in 2019. I mean, it's been injury after injury that's kept him off the field. So what does Michael Thomas look like in this offense? What's his role in this offense? But I think for me, what I want to get into coming up next is, what does Derek Carr look like in this offense and in this team? And what does Derek Carr bring to this Saints team? We'll get into that coming up next. Caroline, Willy, D-Mase, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
fight.
Jared, you're
How do you know, Joe? How do you know? And fight. And because of that,
How do you know that, though? How do you know that?
But that's okay. It's Jared and Joe. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m., Jared Stillman and Joe Rexroad debate the big topics in sports. Jared versus Joe. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors and Parman Tractor and Equipment on Stillman and Company. Wednesdays at 5 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hey, I want to get the attention of those that are looking to buy a new home. If you're in that market and you're wondering, how does this work? How do I sell my old house and have the money to make an offer, a good offer on a new house? Loan Pronto has the way to do it. They are the engine that's providing a lot of people that pathway. The Dream Home Bridge Loan is what it's called. They can help you tap your equity so you get the cash you need. Make a clean offer on the new home with cash to cover the down payment. With this amazing program, you can get the cash in a matter of days. Very little paperwork. Usually no appraisal is needed. So then you really can go after that aggressive bid for the house that you want with no contingency. Then when your current house does sell, the bridge loan completely disappears. So that's the formula. Find out more about it by going to loanpronto.com or call this number, 615-499-5780, and ask about the Dream Home Bridge Loan. That's the Dream Loan Bridge Loan. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval. NMLS, consumeraccess.org.
We got a good thing growing at the Nashville Fair. We offer nightly music, wrestling, cultural arts, barnyard animals, dinner shows, games, competitions, classic fair foods, and thrilling rides. Join in and explore the fun at your Nashville Fair, the only fair in Nashville. From September 8th through the 17th at the Fairgrounds Nashville. Buy tickets online and save at nashfair.fun. Come on out and grow with us at the Nashville Fair.
It's time to let your voice be heard. Nashville is headed to a runoff in the mayoral race on Thursday, September 14th. Stand up and be counted. Cromwell Media reminds you to get out and vote for the future of our city.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Get in on the conversation at 615-737-1025. The game text line is driven by Wilson County Hyundai. Online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
Nashville's radio version of The Odd Couple.
You would trade for the third pick? Yeah. I don't know that I would do that.
Robbie Stanley and Joe Rexroad are Robbie and Rexroad.
I'm here for the discussion. I'm not. It's a good one.
It's absurd. Robbie and Rexroad. Mornings from 6 to 9.
Win the games. When they get in the playoff, they'll have a chance to.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. This is Caroline, Willy, and D-Mase on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Your experience as a head coach, is there anything about getting your guys ready for week one that's different than getting them ready for any other week?
Just an emphasis on fundamentals, emphasis on, we can all say they're going to do this and they're going to do that and, pull stuff out of the sky, but really we don't know. We have no idea. We have to go down there and, play sound, play fundamentally sound, play with great effort. Being able to get back to center, they hit a play knowing, hey, whatever we see early, they're probably going to come back to later on and figure out if there's some wrinkles that we'll have to adjust to, and being great recognizing things and, not trying to, say, hey, this is what they're going to do, because we may have an idea even defensively since there's been some consistency over the years, but they'll have some things that we haven't seen as well.
There goes Mike Vrabel, the preparation for week one. And it's an interesting philosophical question of, once you get into week two, now you got film. Not just on your opponent, but on your own team as well. And you start to get into the rhythm of the season of watching film on your opponent, on yourself, working on those things in practice, game planning for your opponent. But D-Mase, from your experience, what was week 1 like for you preparing as a player? Was that any different? Did it have a different feel? Did you feel a little bit more in the dark week 1 maybe than weeks later in the season when you did actually have film?
I don't think I ever felt in the dark, at least not after my first year or two in the NFL. But I think after that, it's just an excitement of the first game. It's the anticipation. Things do ramp up a tad bit more. Well, matter of fact, not a tad bit more. It ramps up a lot more. Heading into the first game of the season, because like anything, what do we? I know you can't say this yet, Caroline, but Willie, what do we say to our kids? You got to start off when you're going to school. Start off the year on a good note. And that'll carry you through the semester into the next semester. And that's what it is for the Titans. You want to get off on a good note, and that's how I felt as a player, and I'm sure that's how the other 52 guys felt that I played with. Let's step out, get off the season on a good note, go down and have it may be hard, but let's try to have a decisive win. If we don't have a decisive win, let's make sure that we do the things necessary, that if it is a close game, that we do the things that are going to win. Let's not make the mistakes that is going to cost us a game, to start off the season, because, both teams are sort of working from the same vantage point, meaning, I don't know necessarily what you're going to do. I'm assuming these are some of the things you may do because of my studies of you, but you may not do it. You may wait. If I've seen you run, I don't know, 15 screenplays, you may not run one screenplay in the game. That's just how the first game is. So because you try to get away from your tendencies, especially on the first game.
It's a great dilemma. Like, do you do what you do well, even if the other team kind of feels that's what you can do, or do you try to trick your way? I think
it's not necessarily tricking. It's just not sort of going against the tendencies.
Yeah.
Self-scouting, because you've had, 6-7 months to self-scout. So first game of the season, what have we done, in past first game of the season? Okay, let's try to divert a little bit from that. We're not going all the way from it because our offense is an offense. But if we've been known to run these 5 or 6 plays within the first 20 plays, let's try to change it up just a little bit so it kind of throws them off some.
I'm looking forward to it. I think this is a great swing game between two teams that have a lot of question marks but have opportunities because of the division that they play in. Let's take Carr. Like, that's a very interesting one. We discussed at one time whether it was worth the Titans throwing their hat in the ring for Carr. Carr was out there for the taking. We knew he was going to be gone from the Raiders. It ends up being the Saints that grab him. Is that a major upgrade for them? How much better is Carr than Tannehill? How much better is Tannehill than Carr? They're both in that same tier where if you put good things around them, you feel like that you can win some games, right? If you're asking too much of them, there's probably some limitations there. So I think it's a great opportunity, too, to play the Saints without Kamara in the backfield. That's a huge
one less person you got to worry about.
Yeah.
I know that Michael Thomas is going to be a threat whenever he's on the field, but he's a question mark to me of what does he really look like at this point in his career with the age and the mileage and the injuries. So Alvin Kamara, without a doubt, is the Saints' biggest weapon, whether it's on the ground or honestly in the passing game, in the short yardage situations, because Chris Olave, adding him into the mix, absolutely is a deep ball threat. I do wonder, the Saints bring in Jamal Williams in the offseason. He reminds me of Alvin Kamara in the style and that he can catch passes out of the backfield and he's quick, but he's not Alvin Kamara. Like, I don't think that you have to give Jamal Williams the same amount of attention and preparation that you would have to with Alvin Kamara. So I think that's absolutely a tally on the Titan side of things. But I look at Derek Carr because last season, I don't think that the Saints' issue was necessarily quarterback play. Jameis Winston gets hurt early in the season. Andy Dalton comes in, and Andy Dalton, I mean, I don't want to box score scout. I watched some Saints game. I'm not going to admit that I watched every single one. But Andy Dalton wasn't necessarily the problem. He wasn't perfect. It's very far from elite quarterback play. But in 14 games last year, Andy Dalton was completed 67% of his passes, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Derek Carr, on the other hand, in 15 games, so just one more game, completed 60% of his passes, 24 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. So, yeah, Derek Carr had a better season. And I think that Derek Carr probably has more respect around the league. But by all intents and purposes, is Derek Carr that much of an upgrade? Is the quarterback play in New Orleans going to be that much more improved than it has been in the past?
I think
it will be better, but I don't think it's going to be all of a sudden so much bigger of a threat. Like, it's not Drew Brees that you're going up against.
No question. Since Drew Brees retired, they've been in a new era trying to figure it out, right? They've had some good defenses trying to figure out how to get it done on offense.
Quarterback
They knew it was going to take time. Yes. Yeah. They tried Winston, all of that stuff. Carr's got a different skill set than Dalton, right? Carr is more of a downfield. Like, I think of a guy that, when he's at his best, looks pretty good. Dalton, at this stage of his career, is just more of a manager. But if you crunch the numbers, like you mentioned the main level numbers, when you look at effectiveness, efficiency, there wasn't a big difference between Carr last year, who I don't think had a great year.
He didn't have a great year.
His team didn't have a great year. He got pretty much fired at the end of the year. Basically, we don't want you back. And Dalton, like you said, was serviceable as a backup that had to play a lot. So what is that going to look like this year? New team, new people around him. I saw, there's some optimists that say this is a much better supporting cast for Carr. I don't know about that. He had Josh Jacobs. He had Devontae Adams. I don't know if that's the case.
Renfro.
I don't look at a star-studded surrounding cast for Carr.
He wasn't good last year.
There's a lot on Carr.
Yeah,
a lot's going to ride on him.
That Vegas team from the start, I don't know. I would assume that Derek Carr, his brother, he will play a lot better in New Orleans for this, and it has nothing to do, I think, with the personnel, because I think if you look at both offensive personnels, I would contend to say New Orleans may have a better offensive personnel, because in Vegas they had Devontae Adams and they had Josh Jacobs. Your tight end was often injured. Your third receiver really didn't show up last year in Renfro. So much so, they were talking about trading him at the beginning. It was just so much stuff swirling around that team. And I don't think Derek Carr ever felt a sense of him being the quarterback. Like, this is my job. It seemed like he and the head coach, there was always something coming up. And then as the season starts to wind down, now you get benched and your future is up in the air. It's basically you're not